there have been a few questions regarding the pinpointing in the TPG. I made this video for the German version of TPG because I'm running that, and we also had a few questions about the pinpoints because we increased the accuracy we expect. So yeah, I made this video to show my pinpointing process and how I do it to ensure like I get maximum accuracy on my pinpoints. And maybe CG does it differently, or I don't know, he accepts different stuff, but this is how we do it for the German TPG. And yes, I'll just show my process basically. I have selected 4 pictures here, and the difficulty of the pinpoint will increase with during the video. So I'll start with something more simple, and the first pick I'm gonna start with soon. Yeah, basically, this is like one of the most simpler cases. I have that picture in my Google Photos folder, and it is a picture that I took specifically for the German version of TPG, or like TPG if it's ever in Germany, but I was on a highway. I saw a street sign, so I took a photo, so it's geotagged. And if I look at it in Google Photos, it will tell me the location that it has for that photo. So I'll just click on that. It opens the Google Maps tab, and it shows me that it was here. Which, I mean, it shows it on a highway, but when I click at it, actually, yeah, like, I guess people would just take this, but it looks nothing like what my picture looks like. So, actually, the coordinates of Google Photos in this instant were probably wrong. You can't see that sign, but it's quite easy to identify. It should be 500 meters from that off-road. And basically what I think was happening is I was driving north and probably driving quite fast, so probably the GPS was a bit behind, so I'm expecting to be the actual location to be further north than what it says, because it's just a bit behind. And as I'm clicking north, I can already see there is a sign coming up, which looks very similar to the sign on my picture. And looking at the picture soon again, yeah, so I see this is the same sign. Then there's also the building in the background, which I think looks similar to the building in the picture, so this should really be very close to the location already. So I'm looking at the picture, I'm looking at street view, and I'm trying to kind of match the distance between the building and the sign, which now it gets too close, so I'm moving further back. I think right now this is good, but then I noticed the bollard, and the bollard seems to be actually, like, in relation to the sign, quite a lot closer to the sign than it was from my location, so I'm deciding to go a few steps further back. This still doesn't really line up because in my picture the bollard is kind of in the middle below the sign. This is like a more accurate angle right now. The distance between the building and the sign also seems to match. Yeah, it can be like that the Google Drive car wasn't driving on the same lane as I, or also because the camera is a bit higher than where you sit in a car, that it doesn't match. So there, I looked at the map to see the exact location of the where I was before, and I identified this road going northwest to be very close, and I was a bit further north. And then you can just right-click and copy the coordinates. And basically that would be it for me for this location. I think what is like important to notice here is that even if you have geotagged pictures, they can be off, especially if you're driving fast. The faster you drive, the more likely and the more further off they can be, because yeah, GPS isn't as fast. So now I'm measuring like how far off I actually was, and it's almost 600 meters, which is quite a lot, especially like in rounds that can be very close. That would be like, could be 5-6 places if you're close to the location or something like that. So in these kind of cases, it's really important to be accurate. Now I'm going on to the next picture. The only thing I know for this picture is that it was taken in Dresden when I was, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, maybe even younger. So I don't really remember anything from that. So what I usually do, and this is just the process I'm usually doing with this, I'll use Google image search. I'll drag and drop. I try to copy it, it never works. I'll drag and drop the picture there, and then it comes up with saying this is Körnerplatz in Dresden, and that, well, the thing I'm looking at seems to be the Standseilbahn in Dresden. So I'm putting that into Google Maps. And now I'm seeing, well, there seems to be the station. There seem to be 2 stations actually. So I'm looking at the picture again, and I'm seeing that we're going up, and that like the station ends like going up. So from that, I think that we're at the upper station, not at the lower station. So going back to Google Maps, I'm looking at the upper station. I'm clicking on the POI to see like if the structure of the roof that I could see in the picture matches. You can see a bit of roof there, but it's not really super obvious. So I'm clicking on the other POI as well. And then I find this picture, and you can see the structure of the roof is super similar and it matches. But now just looking at this view was pretty inaccurate. So I'm looking at the satellite view, and I can see like the train line goes into it that way. We were like a few steps down from the top, so I click a bit further down on the building, and this is basically what we expect in the German version of TPG to do, is that you click the building and you estimate your distance from where you could be quite correctly, and not just like click on the road or click somewhere in the vicinity of this building. Because I mean, it's quite easy to verify this on satellite view, to just look at the building, see the direction of the train line, and then like I just look at where it could reasonably be. And I'm also looking like the building or any place this could be is like 20 meters, 17 meters, something like that. So like anywhere, like if I click the middle, I will definitely be within 10 meters of where I was. So this would be kind of the coordinates I would use, because that would make sure that what I'm clicking is correct to 10 meters. So yeah, don't click just any area around something like this, but like look at the satellite and make sure. So the next picture now is a picture of me and my dad in Tasmania. Like this, I have no idea anymore where this was. It's just somewhere in Tasmania, and yeah, this could be quite fun to pinpoint, because you can only see like there's one lake, there's another lake, and I'm sitting on some rocks with my dad. So, well, there's me trying to copy the picture again to put it into Google image search, which doesn't work, I'm now realizing. So I'm going back to using drag and drop. And let's pray that something good comes up. All right, so this looks promising. Like, apparently it's something called Mount Field National Park in Tasmania. The shape of the lakes looks exactly the same as what I found. And then I'm also looking at further pictures further down, and I'm realizing like the rocks in these pictures are exactly the same rocks I was sitting on. Looking at the picture again, like there's this crack in the rocks, and then there's a big rock next to it. Yeah, I think now I'm just comparing rocks, and then there you have it. There's this crack in the rocks, and there's these other rock next to it. So I'm now just putting in the name of the national park into Google. I'm directly looking at the lake, but I realize like it doesn't really fit. This one also doesn't have a second lake, but then I see this one, and it has the other lake to the north. So now I'm thinking, where could I be? So I am probably like on this ridge that's south of the lake. So at this point, I'm just zooming in to see like if there's any photospheres, and there's photospheres. There seems to be like a viewpoint. These rocks seem to be like very similar to the rocks I was sitting on, and turning around I see, oh yes, this like a lake is definitely it. Looks to be exactly the point, and then I'm clicking into another photosphere, and then I immediately see the rock that I was sitting on, and also is in this photo that I identify to be the correct one. And yeah. So this was a fortunate one. Now, like, it's quite hard to judge where in this area these exact rocks are. I'm gonna go back into the photosphere, and I'm gonna look at this. The rocks are down there. I can see that. Then I'm also looking at if I can see the trail. I cannot really see the trail, but I see that we're like right on the edge of the like vegetation there in this picture. So I'm judging we're like quite close to the vegetation, so the rocks are a bit further down, but it's still like not super hard. But like now I'm measuring like the maximum distance I could be. I don't think I'm that far down, so but like the upper point is basically what I think is like furthest I can be. So this is within 22 to 25 meters. So if I click the middle of that, I would be maybe within 10 or 12 meters of the pinpoint, which for the German TPG I would say is all right with this kind of location, because it's really hard to judge where exactly I was, but I would be happy with this in the situation, to just take the coordinates in the middle of this area that I identified it can be. And yeah, that would be that for this picture. I don't think you can be like on a meter accurate, like if because the photospheres can be misplaced, so like you can never know if this is exactly where the photospheres were taken. So I know, moving on to the next picture, this was sent to me by someone. This is gonna be quite a hard pinpoint, I can already tell. Like there's not a lot on it to go off of, but we will see how this goes. I will try to use Google reverse image search for this. I'm again trying to copy it, which will not work. But like it's not distinct enough. Like probably won't come up with anything. And yeah, I mean it says that it's in Germany, which is impressive because this was in Germany. But other than that, like there's not really a lot coming up. Then the person who sent that to me said it was east of the B54, close to Niederneißen, Flacht, and Holzheim. So I'm trying to look for these towns now. I'm putting in Flacht, and the B45 is not there, so it's probably not that one. So I'm putting in Niederneißen, which was one of the other towns that, was said that it was close to. And yeah, this looks better. The B54 is there. So now I'm just looking. Yeah, Holzheim is also there. Flacht is there. Niederreißen is there. That's great. But now I'm thinking, like, what can I use to actually pinpoint this picture? So I'm making it a bit bigger, and I'm zooming in. And I see like that there's like seems to be like a town. Then there's a long building. There's some trees with like groups of trees. One tree, singular tree in the middle. Then another group of trees. There's like a path going down there, and then I'm seeing a church. That's good. Like we will be definitely be able to identify the church. We also see that we have like a canola field to the right and like a meadow to the left. So now I'm looking for churches. This doesn't seem to be it. I look, there's a church. I'm clicking on the POI to kind of look if this kind of looks similar. I'm looking mainly at the steeple and now like matching the shape of the steeple. And well, what I'm seeing is also like seems to be correct. I'm now going into looking at, like, we're looking directly at it, so we're somewhere in this area. Kind of what I'm thinking at that point, we could be somewhere there because, well, we're looking directly at the church, and the spire is just behind the church. So I'm looking at anything that has a meadow to the left and a field to the right. But yeah, we have again like this path, the canola field, the meadow. So I kind of have like an idea now of what area this can be, but I'm pointing at this point because this seems to fit with like looking at the angle of the church directly. I also see this, which it could also be, but it's not really a meadow, so I don't think it is. And also, I think the angle would be wrong at how we look at the church. And I see this building, which is, I think, the building that we see through the trees. So I'm now gonna go into Google Earth. I'll create a new project for this specifically. I'll need to find the location first, so I'm gonna put Niederneißen in again. I love this animation. There we are. This is the right one. So what I'm doing now is again looking at everything, looking at the like lineup of the trees. Like I'm seeing like there's a group of trees there. Then we have like a singular tree in the middle and another group of these trees there. And I'll see if I can. And then we look at the building between these trees, between the singular tree and the group of trees. And then I'm gonna look at the satellite view if I can see this. I think this is one of group of trees, that's the other one, and that's the singular tree. But I'll have to go into Street View to check that. Just putting my man down at this point. Can't really see anything from this perspective, so I'm just moving a few steps further, and then I see there's this group of trees, the singular tree, and then the left group of trees. That fits pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. yeah, and then like the only building this can be is really this long building we see there, and yeah, this one. So we see that through the gap between the first group of trees and the singular tree. So now what I'm doing, I'm gonna make a path from like the edge of the building through this group of trees, and I'm just gonna make a long line because I'm not quite sure how far up we are. I need to zoom in a bit so I can see that we're going between this gap in the trees. I'm quite happy with this, so this is kind of the line I'm doing. I'm gonna add this to my project. I'm gonna just give it a title because yeah, I want it to be super correct for this demonstration, so I'm just naming it that this is the angle of the view between those trees onto the house. And yeah, I'll then also, just to be super accurate and correct, I'm also gonna mark all the reference points that I'm seeing on the map. So we have this group of trees, then we have the singular tree. I'm just naming them trees and tree because it doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have anyways. And then I'm also adding the building as a reference. So we have all the things we used for this particular angle saved on the map. But like, this is just really to be accurate at this point. All right, so this is one thing we have that we could line up, but now at this point we kind of need something else to triangulate. So I'm looking at the path. The path is kind of going to the middle of the trees, but it's not super accurate because it's quite hard to judge the angle, but we will remember this for later, I guess. And then I'm looking at the church again because we might be able to line something up with that. There seems to be like a weird building in the background, so I'm zooming in to look at that a bit closer. It seems to have like a weird spiky roof and seems to be quite flat, so I'm at this point kind of wondering what that could be. So I'm looking behind the church and I see like there's something that seems to have like a spiky roof. It's on a cemetery, so we can't really look at that directly, and looking up the hill doesn't work either. So I'm just clicking the POI at this point, and there seems to be like a chapel or something up there. It has like a spiky roof or a pointy roof. It seems to be quite flat, so I'm happy with that. So what I'm then doing is we can see that we look at it like right past the church. Like there's a tiny bit of overlap, but not a lot. So I'm gonna go back into Google Earth. I'm gonna also make a path here from, or well, first I'm gonna mark the buildings again, so we know what we are looking at. I'm marking the chapel first, and then I'm gonna mark the church as well. Now I'm gonna make a path that I think will fit with the angle I'm seeing. I need to zoom out and zoom out. which is quite tricky to kind of stay on the path. Then I clicked that so I could see better, which obviously closed the path. So don't do that if you ever do it. Oh, that zoomed out quite a lot. Okay, and now trying to see the church and the chapel, go right past it. Yeah, I need to zoom in a bit more. And then I'm saving the path as well. And then, well, it kind of is a bit further northeast of like where this path is, but I think that we're more likely on the path there. And then I'm also checking if the field that I'm seeing has been a canola field in the path. Maybe we can see that. This looks like it could be canola, but there's not really a lot of things we can see. The coverage from 1985 is quite good. But yeah, I think I would be quite happy with this pinpoint because it makes sense. There's the path that goes between the fields. Like there's another path that you can actually go along. I'm now like marking the angle of the path that we look down. And as I said, it hits like we're looking kind of like if you follow that at the middle of this tree line, and we kind of also hit that if we kind of extend the line of the trees. So yeah, this is what I mean. This is the path, kind of points towards the middle of the trees. Yeah, I'm gonna do that again just to be super accurate from this point that I think it's likely to be to the middle of the trees, or like through the path. Just hit like the path directly and save it as the path. I forgot how to do that for a second. So now I'm saving it, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Like, I'm sure I could be a bit off. At this point, like, this is not a super accurate method, is what I'm thinking. Like, it could be a field further up or field further down, or something could have changed. But, yeah, I think with like the angle of everything, this should be about correct. And actually, the person who sent me the picture went back to the location a few days ago, and because they weren't quite sure where they took the picture either, so they went back to the location, or like to the coordinates I sent them for this location, and they actually confirmed that I was correct within 2 meters. So I'm now quite happy with what I did there. Like, this seems to work quite well. At the time when I recorded the video, I was not that sure, but it seems to work pretty accurately. So I am very happy with it. Like, I don't know if this is something that CG would accept. We do accept this kind of thing in the German one, because like you clearly put a lot of effort into trying to find the right location, and you can just ask if you also think that this is, if we also think that this is the right location. So that's definitely something you can do. Then I'm now, like, to be super precise, I'm also marking all the reference points on the picture, just to, like, if you wanted to send this to someone and not do like a whole video, I think this is a nice way to show kind of what you did, is to just like mark the stuff you were looking at on the map in the same colors, and then yeah, you can just show kind of what your thought process was in that pinpoint, and I think everyone would be happy to accept that, especially now that I like know that this method works pretty well. And then I'm also adding my view lines like from the middle bottom of the screen, trying to paint without like moving this things. So yeah, this is basically what I would do with a very hard pinpoint. I'm sure there will be more cases that are more specific or even harder, and yeah, I think these definitely will occur, but I think this video kind of covers the basics quite nicely. And I mean, if you have any questions for any other pinpoints, you can always ask me. I'll have a lot of fun pinpointing stuff. I will not pinpoint anything that I don't think like you have enough info for to pinpoint, because I don't want to like stalk or dox anyone. But yeah.